All right, today we're going to talk about data collection. Data collection is a process in which we, um, like it says, obtain data, follow stats, follow statistics, information. Right here, you're looking at a Rangers game in which I attended, and basically, there's all kinds of data in baseball. You heard of statisticians and the stats. There's batting averages, and there's ERAs, and there's RBIs, and there's home run totals and base hit totals. All these things are types of data that an individual or a group of individuals can collect um, and record in order to analyze them for future purposes. You know, data is everywhere. When we record data on a basis to see, for example, we record data in school by taking grades so that I can see how well you are doing in our class and how you're progressing our class. We'll look at all of the data of all the students together and compare the data to see if a particular topic maybe is uh, more difficult than another based on just the grades. If the grades are all bad, the data would indicate that either the instruction was bad, or the material was really hard, or the students didn't work very well. If the grades are all good, then it would show that the material might have been easier. Another example would be just to differentiate you guys. You know, we collect data on you for the next 4 years in order to determine who's going to be the valedictorian and whatever the case is. There's a bunch of different data collection techniques, including tables and just normal other, just tally marks or whatever. You can collect data in a bunch of different ways, but we're going to focus on some very specific ones later. Like I stated earlier, data can be recorded in several different ways. Most of the time, we're going to use tables to record our data. In this case here, I'm using an iPad in order to import the data. Basically, I'm going to take a baseball game, and my X value is going to be the innings. My Y value will be the runs. And then I just generated some random values that a baseball game might include. For example, 1 inning, there's no runs. 3 innings, they have 2 runs. 4 innings, they still have 2 runs. After 6 innings, there's 4 runs. And after 9 innings, there's 8 runs. Once you have your data collected and put into a table, you can then take your data and you can start to analyze that data. Oftentimes, using a table isn't the easiest way to analyze data. So in Algebra 1, what we do is we create graphs or scatter plots. In this case, we're creating a scatter plot because the data isn't quite linear, for example. So what we do is we put the dots on an X and Y axis. In this case, we're using quadrant 1, just one quadrant. And I'm going to put the dots in there and just kind of see what the data looks like. In data collection, you have several different types of data. You have a positive correlation, which goes upward. Okay? Negative correlation, which the dots pretty much go downward. And then you have no correlation. And in no correlation, the dots are pretty random or scattered throughout the scatter plot. So as you can see the data here, once I've got the data in there, I've created a scatter plot. And on that scatter plot, you can clearly see that all of the data is arranged in a positive correlation because the dots go in an upward direction. If the data was reversed and the dot started at the top of the y-axis and worked its way down over through the x-axis, you would see a negative correlation. Make sure you understand positive, negative, and no correlation because we'll be discussing that. So from left to right, if the dots go up, it's positive correlation. From left to right, if the dots go down, it's negative correlation. And then if you have dots all over the place and you can't tell what the kind of correlation is, it's no correlation. You can also use scatter plots to find an average. We put on there a best fit line or a line of best fit, and on that line of best fit, that creates an average. All right, that concludes our lesson on data recording. It was a very short lesson. It's the basic information. It's very, very simple, very easy. It's just about memorizing the positive and negative correlations, the no correlations, understanding that you take data and putting it into a table. Take that table and then you can put it into a scatter plot so you can have a more visual representation of your data, and it's easier to analyze and compare data using tables. So that's pretty much it. I hope you guys are ready for tomorrow, because tomorrow when you come into class, you will be doing some data collecting, and on Thursday you will be doing some scatter plot creating. So I will see you guys tomorrow. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know.